live in a country where 97% of recorded rapes go unpunished. That is an improvement on the 98% that went unpunished just a few years ago. If they do get processed, it takes years, as we've heard, through the backlogs for victims to fight for justice. We know over 80 women last year were killed by men. Probably much more, because there are at least 11 cases of women's murders that are yet still to be solved. As the Minister rightly said, that's a woman killed every 3 days at the hands of a man. 9,000 cases that Revenge Porn Helpline are dealing with every year. That number is increasing. We are seeing victims of sextortion becoming more men and boys, but predominantly the victims of revenge porn, non-consensual intimate image abuse, they're women. And with new technology around AI and notification apps, we are only going to see that problem get worse. 1 in 3 women have been sexually assaulted. So the chances are, you know women, you know girls, you see them, you work with them, you cross paths with them every single day. And what I would say is probably assume that a woman has. Assume a woman has probably multiple times because of the level of underreporting that there is in this country. And we live in a world where Iraq has lowered the age of consent to girls to 9 years old. The Democratic Republic of Congo, women and girls describe their bodies as being an extension of a battlefield. Médecins Sans Frontières estimate that at least 25,000 women have been raped by militia in Congo. If that's too far afield for members to empathise, or for people at home to empathise, the seriousness of the situation for women and girls, not just in this country, but across the world, what about the group of 70,000 men in Germany that had a group that shared tips on how to rape, how to drug, how to get away with sexual assault, how to wreak revenge on women and girls? Just in Germany, 70,000 men sharing tips on that. Can we guarantee that there isn't something similar happening closer to home? Probably not. And we're about to witness the inauguration of a man as president who openly boasted, and I quote, about grabbing women by the pussy, enabled by the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, who has on one hand pretended in the last few weeks to care about victims of sexual violence, while on the other targeting and inciting hatred against our friend and the member for Birmingham Yardley and the minister, calling her an evil witch. I mean, really digging deep into the historical misogyny there, right? Evil witch, how long has it been? We're women, powerful women that have stood up, constantly called witch or something that rhymes with it. I'm pretty sure most of us have all been called something similar for standing up to those in power. All while the hypocrisy of this man, all while he helped elect a man who has lost another lawsuit against a woman who claimed he raped her and has 26 claims of sexual assault against him. And above all that, we have representatives that champion both in this chamber. In this chamber, we share quite often with a man who was convicted for kicking a woman and others who think that that was acceptable. But violence against women and girls doesn't start or end with politics and war, sadly. As we've heard, society and the view of women is such an important part of this. Where are we in a society in 2025 where it's okay for 70,000 men to get together and share tips on how to rape and sexually assault women and get away with it? What is our place in this world? What are women and girls' place in this world? Are our institutions designed for us? Are they working for us? If our services are actually protecting or supporting us for over a decade when it comes to health, police, justice, no one can say that that's clearly the case. We have been failed by institutions, we've been failed by individuals. It's why many of us will still ask when our friend goes home for a text message to say they got home safe. It's why many of us won't run at night. Why many of us will just have one earphone in, if that, when we're walking around. Why we carry keys in our pockets, rolled up in our hands. Violence against women and girls doesn't just come out of nowhere. I don't believe any child is born with hatred in their hearts or their minds. No baby boy is born thinking he has a right over a woman's body, or has the right to abuse her, or has the right to rape her. It's a society that instills that belief. It is so important what society views, not just as a woman, but what is a man. What makes a good man? What makes a good boy? A man to aspire to. I am so grateful that we heard, and I really am looking forward to hearing more about the Men and Boys Ambassador. But at the moment, who are boys aspiring to? It's the men that shout the loudest and have the most money, unfortunately. Even if they got that money and power and influence through sex trafficking of women, starting new political parties for bros. It's nothing new, sadly. Whether you look at the Harrods scandal, Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, influence, power, money, and being unaccountable to anybody before it is far too late. It's the same pattern that we see time and time again. The antidote to that is good role models. And there are plenty of really good role models. So many. Being a strong, good man is very different to what I think those men that I have highlighted portray. And there are so many of them. I'm really lucky that we get to work alongside some of them. I'm really lucky that my friends are some of them. And I'm really lucky that my family are some of them. But it's also about holding a mirror up to the men who use their power, their positions and their money to try to crush women and girls. And see it as a badge of honour, rather than a badge of shame that it should be. What path has led a man to lead to the conclusion that it's okay to rape somebody? What path has led a man to believe that women are just commodities to buy and sell and traffic to please their needs? What kind of man is it who uses their body to kick, punch and strangle women? How hollow is the shell of a man who gets his kicks out sending intimate videos or photos of a girl to embarrass or degrade her? The unfortunate thing is just as I've mentioned, we know so many good men, we also know bad men. We also work alongside them. They're around every single day of our lives. They're in every part of our lives. We like to paint out rapists and sexual assaults and predators as monsters, as something other. But actually, if you think about the statistics that we had highlighted earlier about sexual violence and rape, they walk among us. So young boys need better role models than those promoted on X, Telegram, and soon to be, I fear, Meta as well. I want to end with the person who embodies that mirror to ensure that shame is reflected on those who actually deserve it. Giselle Pellicot, and every other victim of abuse that steps forward. Giselle Pellicot was drugged by her husband, raped by 51 men, betrayed by the person who should have loved and cherished her. As with so many cases of violence against women and girls, it's a supposed loved one, a close one. She waived her right to anonymity because she felt the shame must switch sides. She couldn't be more right. But are we up to that challenge? Will women and girls stop being blamed and shamed, and male perpetrators actually held to account?